since I've been
Well, I'm
here.
just saying, you say it's not yours, but I'm dealing with the county attorney. Why? I'd rather deal with him than the guy from downtown Orlando.
Thanks for telling me.
That's reverse psychology, you know, watch out.
But yeah, we don't. If I had to say, and I did with Motran, they wouldn't, mine would have been, got rid of that language 8 years,
I'm
9
just
years
letting you
ago when
know,
I
you say-
came aboard.
You
I've
say
been
it's not
saying,
yours, but
I've been saying get rid of it.
you guys pay
I
the
don't
bills
nego-
there.
I don't negotiate that contract.
Yeah.
And if I did, I would have been negotiating that one differently 10 years ago. When I came in the door, the first thing I would have read that and said, why are you doing that?
Stay out of town.
Why are you doing that?
Okay, well, we'll look at yours. And that you
But I
said
offered
was
something
another-
similar to that in
Well, let's look at
wages.
yours. What page is
Well,
that?
it's wages.
The term is also different in there.
Yeah.
It's to 2019. Ours is 2020, ours is 2019, this is 2020.
14?
Wages is page 18.
So you're saying for fiscal years 2017, 2018, 2019, if all general employees are given across the board, base pay, general wage increase greater than 3%, the union will be offered the additional increase. That's what you're saying, right? That's your me too?
That's what you're me too.
It's on a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Okay, 3-year.
Or we're wanting 3 year. All right. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, that's only page 3.
Okay.
Well, one of the things, you know, it's in the headlines all the time, is about mass casualty incidents, terrorist acts. And I just hope that we're getting the training for that, active shooters, and the equipment. We've already talked about the equipment, some of that will help. And the last thing is, I know, did you have some classification changes on names, I guess?
Yeah, we just created 2 new titles.
Lifeguard supervisors?
Now we created captains as exempt positions. Out of the they're out of the bargaining unit, and county council approved them, and but they're not, they're exempt positions, they're exempt from the bargaining unit.
And the 4 captains.
And they're
are what?
exempt.
How many captains you got now?
There'll be 3. There's 3.
There's 2.
Yep.
There's 3.
3.
Who's the other one?
You got training captain, you got and the 2 other
Who's your
captains.
captains now?
They were known as district supervisors before that.
You got the captains now, you're paying.
Captains now.
Was the James Mares, you got
Etheridge, Maris, and
Etheridge, and there's the 3. And we had those classifications officially approved by the council.
That's all.
So we were
They're
able
exempt,
to,
and
we
they're
were
exempt
able
from
to,
overtime.
Right, well, that's not all we're talking
we were
about.
able to make that happen through council, but we weren't able to get what was originally in place. I don't understand what
It's all about
the
specific.
necessity between
Pardon?
time the change was. Originally, we were told that captain wasn't ever a thing, so.
Well,
it was just an
they're not as a
formality.
whole.
What I wanna ask is what's gonna be on my badge?
supervisor.
I don't know, at this point, they're them.
There's no indicator that we are law enforcement officers on that uniform. 0. Nothing that says it. Nothing that says police, law enforcement, officer, nothing.
On your shirt it will,
It
On the
says
back.
supervisor.
on the back of your shirt.
On the
That's
back
insufficient.
at the bottom.
This is what we want. Some other,
Well, we'll say in
come
the
up
back.
with something else, yeah.
Says,
It doesn't have to be a
law
captain.
enforcement, lifeguard, EMS.
It's like we're coming to you with a problem, like people are not realizing this as law enforcement, and the election is to make it worse by taking away another indicator of law enforcement. To me, it doesn't matter if it's captain, sergeant, it doesn't matter, because you already have a captain, but there's gotta be some type of connotation of rank there, otherwise it's a broken system. It's, you have to change community. And it's still a,
Well, you know,
Well,
I don't mean
it's-
this differently, but if they're not gonna recognize, because you can have security people that's got captain, lieutenants on their badges.
I
And they're
understand that.
security people, and that doesn't make, people don't think
so put police on there.
they don't think that. But law enforcement, they don't say law enforcement on, security people. But anyway, we'll look at that. We'll take a look at it because, you know, we want to make sure people know you're, you know, when you go up,
This is
you're
going on
an
problems, this is
officer.
just not
You're an
snapshot here.
officer.
This is problems where they have people that are confrontational or whatever they wanna be, and they just don't believe who they are. And, you know, the director says, turn around, put your hands behind your back, that's not always the answer.
Well, I know, but if you're wearing a, it should say it, your badge should say it, your back of your shirt's gonna be, I understand it's gonna say what they're saying, but we'll look at it again.
Let me
We're
see,
trying to
what'd
tell
you
you
say,
how
law
we feel like
Look at-
we
and
we
but you're
use,
gonna
Just
wear
law
a
says
gun, a
law
real
enforcement
badge.
button.
And I
but not on the
think,
front, nothing on
you
the
know,
front.
but
Has
a
a
real
badge.
badge.
Has a
Right, but it
badge.
doesn't say, what does it say? It says supervisor?
It's a supervisor, one of them says officer.
What did yours say?
And you got a gun on your hip.
I mean, the guy
No,
was
on the other
started
side,
with
for
that
a
gun.
badge.
With the security guard argument, security guard said that.
Does it say police?
It says deputy chief.
Just deputy chief.
I heard it doesn't say it either.
But we don't have a chief, we have a director, right? I mean, it's colloquials, we're talking about colloquialisms. They're not, they're just language, but they mean something, the words mean something.
So what would y'all want?
Something that denotes some officer presence. Because I have, you know, an ordinance, a lot of our ordinances are pretty petty. That's just me saying that. You have somebody lying in between vehicles.
Right.
You gotta move them. You know, people think that that's stupid sometimes. I'm not saying that they're right, but it is. You know, I go up to somebody and say, hey, sir, can you please move? You're not allowed to be in between vehicles. They don't think I'm a cop with any authority. They tell me to pack dirt sometimes, and then I gotta use force or make them move, and that's not good for business. I mean, if they feel like this is an authority figure giving me a lawful command, I feel like they're more prone to respect it and to do what we're asking them to do. And then you don't have to use force, you don't have to arrest anyone, you don't have to.
We see that all the time because we have, a lot of times our lifeguards, our VSS guys perform a lot of these functions, these menial, county ordinance violation, functions where essentially we send them out to be the signs. There's not a sign there that says don't do this, so we send our guards out to go do it because, I mean, look at it this weekend, that's what a lot of my people are gonna be doing on the beach in my assigned area from Speedway down past Silver Beach is parking. So my lifeguards are gonna be out on their ATVs wearing their yellow and red, and they're gonna go up to these people and they're gonna say, hey, sorry, you can't sit or lay in between the vehicles, these are parking spaces, and they're gonna say, piss off, I don't care.
When you walk up to a person, don't you identify yourself as a
Yeah,
law
we do,
enforcement
we
officer?
do.
Well, then they know right then you're a law enforcement officer.
Well, we don't walk up and say, I'm,
Hi, I'm officer
supervisor.
such and such.
Well,
Well, if we're supervisor, say I'm a supervisor or such and
you
such.
can't do that anymore.
You're still an officer.
So what I say, I'm supervisor, officer, such, I mean, according to the county, I'm not an officer, I'm a supervisor. And according to the county, we have senior lifeguards and not officers. And it seems so petty, but it does, I mean, I think it means a lot.
It makes a difference in the performance of our
But
job.
the deal is, your title is that, but if you're up there doing a police function, you're still an officer under the law.
Right.
And you can say, I'm here as an officer.
You don't have to sell that to me. I'm trying to, I mean, you wanna minimize the
What if it
usage
said
of force.
supervisor on one side of your shirt and on the gold badge it said officer?
Yeah, I don't get that part. When I see it
Well, you
also,
can't,
I'm
I
just
mean, you
saying.
can't read what.
That'd be better
it
than
does.
just saying supervisor.
if they're drunk, it doesn't make any difference anyway who you are.
But the
Drunk
thing about
drunk
it
people are easy to deal with, okay, they get snatched up.
is, there's a
All
difference
right, I want to
between,
ask you this.
You're ruining my buzz,
Let me ask
Charles.
you a question.
You're ruining my buzz.
You put the supervisor, because then people know you're the supervisor, so you're more up than somebody else, than under an officer.
Yeah, but somebody that works at McDonald's says supervisor on their shirt.
Yeah, I know, but you just supervisor, but it said officer under it, or
We're not
officer
looking- we're looking for-
supervisor, because somebody won't recognize that you're a little higher up than just a regular officer.
we're looking for a title, other than something that can be used in every other profession.
You want
If
a
I
title
go-
that resonates with the public.
To me, it makes our jobs a lot easier, because, what we're talking about here is, if we show up and we say, hey, you have to do this. If we show up and we say, hey, sorry about your luck, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is an ordinance, this is something that we have to tell you to change, and they say, well, I don't feel like it, make me. Well, it's a lot easier for us to show up with some form of authoritative presence so that people, and our residents, they know, some people are just gonna be jerks no matter what you say to them, but in a lot of cases, if we show up and we have that physical display where people realize this really isn't up for debate, then we get to be nice, we get to have that customer service, that very friendly demeanor. And for me, when I get out of my truck, to give you an example, I walk up to these families that have their tents splayed out and their grills set up and their canopies and couches and everything else that they bring all to the beach. Between the last time I went through and the time I came now, they've got it all set up. Well, I have to break the news to them that all that hard work they just did, because they paid $10 to get down on the beach, or they paid their $100 annual pass, or their $25.
Been there, done that, so
annual
I
pass.
understand that frustration.
So we show up and we have to be that bearer of bad news. Well, we have two options at that point. We can either say, hey, sorry about your luck, you should have read the sign, move your stuff because someone's gonna park here. Or we can be nicer about it. Say, hey, unfortunately, this is the way it is. If you'd like some help moving your stuff, we can certainly do that. When we show up looking like somebody with no authority, it makes our jobs more difficult. And instead of doing that, we say, well, unfortunately, yes, you do, or I have to make you.
Or can you move your car or vehicle behind that?
We do that all the time too.
Well, sometimes we don't have vehicles, I mean,
We
we're
do that all the
small
time.
guys here,
I
but
understand.
The difference
I
is-
go down, I put up 3 tents one time years ago without realizing that, for a big family function, put car with, I got told. So I understood that frustration of
Yeah.
having to tear it all down and move it out farther and move behind cars.
And
So I understand
and
what
that's
y'all deal
just-
with.
that's just
And if
one
I wanted to be a
example.
jerk, I could have been a jerk, and then, cause I understood that frustration. And I know what you're saying,
And that's just one example
but I knew
where
y'all were officers at the time.
having that denotation of title where, you know, you don't look at me like some security officer or somebody who just showed up to ruin your day, that we actually do have, we show up with an appearance of authority. And I know it's easy for everybody to say, well, you got a gun on your hip, you got a badge on your shirt, that, you know, that's authority in and of itself, but I can't tell you how many times these people come
it
to
happens
visit us.
a lot.
It's happened at least 3 or 4
Smaller
times
than
just in the last week, to me personally, where people ask that question. I mean, what are you guys, like, security? I mean, I believe it was you that had a arrestee that asked when we were gonna call the police to come pick him up.
Are you sure that's not just the, you guys are caught in this
You-
image where you have a guy coming up, and not to denigrate what you're doing, but you got a guy who's got his swim trunks on, he's got the thing on, even if you have the badge and everything else, you still may overcome some of that because,
I think you're right,
you know,
but you gotta make it a little easier for us. I mean, I deal with it all the time. I think a lot of it is on your officer presence, you know, I'm the smaller guy, Rick's bigger guy, and maybe I get it a little more than he does. But,
I still get it.
to me, the word, I can't speak for everyone when I say, I don't care what you call me, captain, I don't care about the rank as much as long as there's something there. To me, the word officer and police, both of those words are very powerful words.
Not only that, but they're universal. They're
People
universal,
understand what it means.
even in other languages, they have similar, you know, things. We deal with people from other countries and everything else. But when I show up, my presence, when I announce myself, I go on a traffic stop, hey, I'm Officer so-and-so, or hey, I'm Captain so, you know, Urquhart, Volusia County Beach Safety, stop here today because you're speeding. I walk up to that same car with a difference in title where I'm being told that I'm now a lifeguard supervisor. I'm Supervisor Urquhart, Volusia County Beach Safety. What is that? Supervisor
I
of
wouldn't
what?
tell you, well, I'm not drowning, so why are you stopping me?
You know, that carries no authority behind it, other than I've
I get it.
got some kind of promotion.
We beat it down.
We'll discuss it, we'll get
We
back,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
we'll get back to you. All right,
That's it.
all right. Perfect timing, 'cause I actually have another meeting right now across the street, so it's worked out. We'll get back to you.
And even though we don't agree with everything, we do thank you guys for your time.
We'll get back, we gotta understand some of this.
You had a better understanding, too, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you should talk to him.
There's what I had. Trust me, I'm not a fan. Most
I got a meeting with Donna, actually, across the street.
you are better.
I'm not contagious.
Burn it out. Here's how to get it back to you.
Have a good afternoon.
You too. Rick,
Yes, ma'am.
you're on Friday?
I'm sorry?
You're on Friday?
I am on Friday.
Did I see you Friday?
Thank you.
Did I see you?
Wow.